Hello, crypto miners. Good evening, good morning, good day, good whatever, wherever you are. We have another AMA today, and I can hear someone in the miners account. Can you please mute yourself, whoever you are? Thank you. So today we have visitors from the project called Iskra. Iskra. We'll hear the correct pronunciation from Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben, are you in here? Let's see if we have Mr. Ben in here. Can you please ask to speak or raise your hand or so I can see you? Anyway, I like to point out again that we give information and education about the projects we host here. No financial advice whatsoever. So do your own research. And yeah, let's start with this one. This is an AMA with Iskra World. Ben is connecting.
Hello, Mary.
Hello, Ben. Good evening or good day, wherever you are. I don't really know where you are, so.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm actually in near Los Angeles in SoCal.
Ah, okay. So good
Yeah.
morning to you then.
Yes, that's right. But I'm sure somewhere is happy hour for somebody, right? So
Probably, probably.
let's hope.
Always.
Let's hope anyway.
Absolutely. So nice to have you, Ben. You are the managing director of Iskra. And how do you pronounce Iskra?
Yeah, just like you just said it, Iskra, right? I think
Oh, okay.
it is a Slavic word that means flame or spark, right? And
Ah, nice.
hopefully we're gonna try to start something new, and I don't know, it's something of value to you and your listeners for today.
Great. Let's hope so. All right,
I hope so too.
let's start right away. But first, I think we want to know more about you. Ben
Mm.
from Iskra. Tell
Mhm.
us about yourself, your crypto journey, and maybe also a little bit about the rest of the team.
Yeah, so actually, most of the team is based out in Asia, right? The global team is, kind of spread out too. We have some team in Brazil, some team here in the US, right? But a lot of the team is already asleep out in Asia. But it's just going to be me today. So yeah, hopefully I can give enough correct
That's fine.
information for today that's useful to you guys. So yeah, if you don't mind, you want me to start just giving a little bit of my background for you and your listeners?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Do
yeah.
that.
So I guess I'll start with I'm the first to admit that I am not Web3 native, right? My background is really in online games, and we were some of the first few to introduce these types of games into emerging markets in Southeast Asia, South America, places like India, the Philippines, Brazil, Colombia, right? And this was in the early 2000s. So I don't know, Mary, you were probably still in grade school, probably when I was doing this stuff. A lot of your listeners probably were very, very young,
Oh, well,
you know.
no comments on that one.
But there was a time when the internet wasn't so great, and especially in emerging markets, right? You couldn't play games with other people online, believe it or not. I know it's like life before electricity, right? Um, but at the time, with the help of some very brave Korean developers, game developers. I convinced them to become my partners and deliver their games, at the time to these very exotic sounding places, right? And it's funny because I don't speak a lick of Portuguese or Spanish, right? I don't speak Korean. Um, and those guys,
Hola.
and there you go. And, I don't speak Korean, and those guys didn't really speak English. So
Oh, I think we lost you there, Ben.
uh,
Or is it my connection?
oh yeah, sorry. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Uh,
now.
oh, sorry about that. Um, sorry. So I was saying, I kind of convinced these guys to trust me and deliver these games in these markets, and we just made it work. You know, I did this for about 12 years, and I was very fortunate to be at the right place at the right time, right? And you know, after 12 years of living out of a suitcase, right? You know, I don't know if you guys or you know how it feels to kind of be a little burned out, where something that was really fun in the beginning becomes a little less fun, right? Every day, you know? And so
For
you
sure,
know,
yeah.
I sold the business, you know, and I left the game industry completely in 2013, right? I
Oh,
kind of needed
wow.
a break. Yeah. So I haven't, you know, talked to anybody in the game industry for, yeah, man, over almost 10 years. And so fast forward to last year, I got a call from, you know, one of my old friends from, you know, who partnered with me before, and they went on to start working on the blockchain in Korea, right? And so Spike, who's one of the founding members of Iskra, you know, kind of called me, and he's like, you know, hey Ben, you know, what are you doing, right? And I'm like, I don't know, what are you doing, you know? And he said, you know, hey, look, you know, we're in this blockchain thing, and we have this vision of you know, creating this Web3 platform with some amazing games, right? And we need to take this platform and the games to the same countries like we did the last time, right? And I was kind of like, wait, hold on a second, man. You know, like Web3 crypto games. I'm like, man, I'm too old for this shit. You know, like I don't, you know, what's going on. And you know, to me, it's kind of like, you know, one of those bad movies where it's like a bunch of old guys, and it's like everyone's like, okay, let's just do one more job, right? And then we're out of this life, right? We're out of this business, right? And you know, and in the end, I'm kind of like, all right, let's go, right? Whose car are we taking, you know? And
One last
one
heist.
last
Yeah.
heist, you know, and here we are, yeah. And now I'm speaking with you and talking to your listeners,
Cool.
right?
So is this your first AMA,
This is
Ben?
actually my first AMA. You know, I'm a
Oh,
little nervous. You
I'm
know, I
honored.
was telling the team I haven't given an interview in over 10 years, right? So you know, please be gentle, right? And I
Wow.
hope,
I will. I will
yeah,
not.
you will not. Okay, great. Thanks for the heads up.
I will. I
I
will.
appreciate I appreciate the honesty. I really do.
No, I'm
Yeah,
usually pretty nice.
yeah.
We'll see.
We'll
We'll see.
see. Okay, okay.
Cool. So you found your team, old old team again,
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
say.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. And they have moved on to Web3 and you are now doing it with them.
I'm
That's
trying.
so cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up.
So
I'm trying to catch up. Yeah.
Iskra, I mean, so it wasn't your idea, but you
Hmm.
obviously like the idea then.
Yes,
After being away 10 years, nothing
exactly.
could turn your head, but now it could. So tell us about Iskra. What is Iskra
Yeah,
in a nutshell?
so let me give my perspective as like a Web 2
Yeah.
person transitioning to Web 3, right? Which seems like that's kind of the theme anyway when it comes to games, right? And you know, I'm sure
Hmm.
everybody's kind of been, you know, games, Web3 games is the new meta, right? For the space, and you know,
So they
how do
say.
we, so they say, and they say, how do we transition people from Web 2 to Web 3 and all this stuff, right? And I'm sure we'll
Hmm.
cover some of these questions later. But, you know, what we're trying to build is like a single destination Web3 platform that has Web3 services and, of course, games, right? And our focus is a single destination because we don't want to make it just convenient for existing Web3 natives, right? But for future Web3 users, right? Who may need to know what a wallet is, right? Why should they use a DEX, right? What's the deal with the market, right? What is this Launchpad, right? Why do I operate a node? Why should I do governance staking? All these things, right? So um, we're trying to create this single destination so that we're preparing ourselves for the future, right? I mean, we need people to be onboarded to the space in order for us to truly grow, right? So that's the first piece of
Mass
the
adoption.
platform.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, the main feature though of the platform is that everybody is rewarded for their participation on the platform using a unique community ranking system, right? And the reward is up to 100% of all the platform fees that are generated, right? So this includes the
Oh,
fees that,
that's
yeah,
insane.
exactly. And so this includes the fees that the game developers pay to be on the platform, right? And so
Cool.
let me explain in another way, right? Just to make sure, because I had to have numerous conversations to wrap my head around this, right? So imagine the App Store, right? Everybody complains, including Epic, that 30% fee, right, to the App Store is
Mm-hmm.
unfair, right? So Iskra, the platform, charges the game developers and studios maybe up to 20%, not quite 30%, right? But let's say up
Okay.
to 20%. But let's say that 20%, right, goes back to the users who are ranked on this uh, community ranking system. So you get a piece of that 20% that the developer pays to reach you.
You're part-time owner of your own
Exactly.
platform where you
Exactly.
hang out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
coming from a Web 2 publisher who used to squeeze every dollar out of the user now gets back whatever he puts in, at least in a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like everybody is squeezing the user anymore. The user is on the same side now as the developer, the studio, and the platform because everybody kind of the goals are aligned, right? If the whole platform succeeds and people spend more money, then you also get to benefit from that value that's captured by the platform.
Yeah, so we all
Yeah.
squeeze each other at Iskra. It's a hugging game.
Exactly. At least we're squeezing each other, right? Like in a good way,
Perfect.
right? And so we're
In
all
a
on the
good
same
way.
page in a good way, right? And now, the interesting thing is when I say all the stakeholders benefit, right? A stakeholder is also the developer. So, for example, if I'm a small developer, right, and for whatever reason, I don't have the biggest game on the platform, right? But if I'm ranked on the ranking system, I get to share in the fees that the more successful games pay to the platform, right?
So the better rank, the
Mm-hmm.
better pay.
Yes. Yes. The more of that reward fee that you get.
So how do you get ranked, or I
So,
mean, better
very good
ranked?
question. Exactly. Good question, right? So, to get ranked, you have what we call contribution points, right? And you earn contribution points by doing several things on the platform, right? One is if you run a network node, right? Then you
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of contribution points and your ranking goes up, significantly. You can stake our governance token, ISK, right? And you stake these, and I'll talk about the voting thing a little bit because we're going to launch that at the end of the week. But you can stake your ISK tokens for more rewards and to participate in governance voting. Or you can just use a platform, right? Like if you use the DEX, you participate in the Launchpad, you buy something from the market, you use the bridge,
Mm-hmm.
you use your wallet,
You get
then you
points.
earn exactly, you get these contribution points. So the more contribution points you have, the higher you are on the rank. And yeah, pretty much the more of that reward pool that you get.
So if I use it a lot, like let's say during a month, I get high ranked, and then I stop
Mm-hmm.
using it. I go on vacation. What happens with my rank? Is it going back down, or
Well,
once achieved,
it
always have
depends if
it?
other people earn more points than you, right? You still have your
Ah, okay,
points, but then
okay.
somebody else
So
can
it's
have
a
more points
living
than you.
thing, this ranking. It's a
Correct, correct,
okay, that's cool.
correct, right? And we do these in seasons, right? So we're trying to start the first season, the first 6 months, in the second half of this year. So basically, hopefully, right, all this, all this value that we generate in fees on the platform, for 6 months, is like happens in the second half of this year, and then what happens is in the beginning of next year, then everybody gets paid out,
So is
basically.
that accumulating during these 6 months then the
That's
fees,
correct.
and
It
then
is
after that you have reached your rank and get
correct,
paid
and then that's
after
what you
that?
get. That's right. And then the new season, all the ranks get reset again, and then we go
Hmm. But
we go
if
from
I'm a
there.
little bit late or a lot late, maybe I come in month 5, do I stand a chance then? Probably not.
It depends on what you do, right? So you get the most
24/7.
contribution. Well, the best way to accumulate contribution points is to operate a network node, right?
Hmm.
And in
And
order to
yeah,
operate, yeah,
what do you need
go ahead.
to operate that?
Yeah. So in order to operate a network node, you have to buy what's called a Pioneer NFT. right? And that
Oh.
NFT gives you the right to run the node, right? And they're not cheap, right? We started selling these last June. It started at $6,000,
Oh.
and it increases by I think $20 for every 100 that's sold. So right now the current price is like I don't know $7,500, right? But when you do own a Pioneer NFT, right? Uh, the in return for operating the node and holding the Pioneer NFT is that 40% of all the ISK tokens that we're going to mint is given as a reward to node holders and operators.
Wait,
It's a
how
lot.
many?
That's a lot.
40%?
Yeah, that's 400 million
Oh, that's a
ISK
lot.
tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What's
a
the
lot.
total
So
supply is like 100
a
million
billion.
then?
It's a billion.
A billion. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yes, a billion.
My
Yeah.
math
So
is so good.
don't worry. You and me both. You're a great host. You're making me
Oh
very
God.
comfortable. Thank you.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
good.
yes, my math is bad too. So yeah, so any listener, or if I know some of my team from Brazil and Texas is on, so just like slack me if I do my math wrong. Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, raise your hand. I might
Exactly.
unmute you.
Please, please, please. But yeah, no. So that's why it's kind of like it's a good trade off, right? So
Hmm.
the best way to earn contribution points is through that. Um, and the rewards are pretty significant, right? If you do it. Now, having said that, just to touch on a little bit of the tokenomics, right? Everyone's like, well, that's not fair, right? It's too concentrated. You know, it's
Hmm.
interesting how games have tokenomics, right? And its ecosystem. Iskra also has its own very intricate tokenomics and ecosystem so that we try to disperse kind of concentrations of influence, right, and power in the ecosystem. And so when it comes to governance voting and governance staking, for example, uh, if you own and operate a node, right, you
Yeah.
certainly have a lot of influence in terms of making a proposal about what we should vote on, right? What the platform should vote on. And the platform can vote on things like how much fee the developer should pay, right? Or, how much rewards should we give out, all that stuff, right? And but just because you have a Pioneer NFT, you can propose and make comments about what we should vote on. But when you actually vote, you actually need to stake ISK governance tokens. So so if you try to concentrate the power too much, with the node holders, they also need to convince enough people to stake their ISK tokens and vote the right way.
To get So if I stake my ISK token with a
Mm-hmm.
certain node person or wallet, because I don't really know
Mm-hmm.
the person probably,
Sure. Yeah.
uh, then they get my votes, or
Yeah, if you want to, if you agree with what they're proposing, right?
yeah, okay.
Now, also
Hmm.
those people, the node operators, right? If they have enough money, certainly they can buy, ISK tokens and they can stake them. But part of the rules is that you need quorum, right? So you need like I don't know 20% of the outstanding ISK governance tokens, that are staked in order to do that. So it's going to be there's a lot of different ways and mechanisms so that we try to, like I said, disperse these concentrations as best as we can,
And
right? And
disperse is
everything's
spreading out. Is that the
correct.
same word?
That's right.
Okay, yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like I'm hoping that we can have more AMAs. Certainly with you guys, but I think even for myself, after doing this for a year, the ecosystem and all its components are quite complex, right? To kind of wrap your head around, But
Yeah.
having said that, when it all comes together, you can see why the locking mechanisms, the staking mechanisms, and why the price of a certain, you know, the node is the way it is, and you know what I mean. That's the way we balance
But
things. It all
this
kind of comes
isn't
together.
like a project that you throw together in like a month or two. This has been well thought through before you started. Well, to me
I
it
think
sounds like
so.
that. anyway.
Yeah, I think so because I feel like the dumbest person in the world. It's been a year and I still almost don't understand everything. Right?
You want us to understand it now in
Yeah,
an
I mean,
hour. Yeah.
like I said, right? Like so that's why I think I wish I could explain Iskra in like one sentence,
But
but because we cover so many things, right? We have games. We haven't even talked about the games, right?
yeah, let's
We have
that's
games.
what
We
I
have this.
wanted to ask now. Let's
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
what is included in Iskra, what the concept. You said a DEX and
Yeah, so
nodes and what
like I
else?
said, right? I think that the best way to look at it is so Iskra has, let's say, I like to call them Web3 services, right? So that's everything that has to do with Web3 that's useful,
Okay.
right? Like a wallet, a DEX,
Hmm.
a marketplace. We're going to have a Launchpad to launch new tokens for the new games that we're doing, right? We have bridges, like anything that a Web3, for Web3 services, you don't have to go to different places, right? I mean, certainly, yeah, you can go to OpenSea, you can do all these other things, but what we're trying to do is make it as convenient as possible, right, on the platform. That's the Web3 services, right? Then
Yeah.
you have the game portion, right, which is the engagement and all the fun stuff, right, that happens. Um, and so that's essentially the way I kind of see, Iskra as far as this is what we offer, right? And
So
then,
then,
yeah, go
okay,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
And then underneath all of this is this really rich ecosystem, right? And tokenomics that holds everything together, right? And that you will experience as take that journey through the platform and the game and all these things. Yeah.
Hmm. So two things pops up in my head when you say this because
Mm-hmm.
we come across lots of different projects in here, and there is
Mm-hmm.
not just one. You're not the first one saying that we have this new ecosystem. This is the one-stop shop. You don't need
Mm-hmm.
anything more than this. And
Correct.
how are you going to attract uh, users that really knows that this is the place to go then? And
Mm-hmm.
no, let's take that first, actually.
Okay.
It's a big one.
I, that's actually like the $1 million question, right? I
Yeah.
feel like anybody you ask, and I've been meeting quite a few people too. It's like I think user acquisition is probably one of the most difficult um, challenges in the space, right? Or any space, right? In general.
Yeah, because you have
Um,
all this good stuff, but if
yes,
people won't come when you open the
correct,
doors,
correct.
no
So I
one's
think
gonna use it.
yes, and so this is where I think we see both a challenge and an opportunity, right? Because I think that because of all the different services and features and products that we offer, we also have different target audiences and different groups, right?
Hmm.
So each group then needs to be targeted individually and in the right way. So, for example, existing Web3 users that are used to, like all these issues, right? Like governance staking and, using a DEX and, making sure that the ISK token price is growing in value. So all that stuff, obviously we have to try to have strategic relationships with other um, ecosystems, right, and other
Hmm.
chains, so that we can continue to grow on that side, right? So, to me, in order for us to get additional users, we need to have these strategic collaborations, and we have a multi-chain strategy to kind of do that, right? So then that way, it's easier for us to kind of onboard other kind of like-minded communities, right, and potential collaborators, right, and partners with those communities. When it
Yeah.
comes to the games, I think then that's a whole other set of people, which includes the existing kind of dormant play to earn users, right? That are kind of
Hmm.
waiting for the next
A
Axie
good
or,
game.
like another game.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we're also targeting specifically in the countries that I am somewhat familiar with, even though I don't speak the language. Um, Actually, on ground local projects and existing game communities, right? Which is
Yeah.
really my background, right? So, we're working with local esports groups, local video game groups on top of, the Web3 guys, right? But to me, we see that gamer group as like the gamer group, right? So that's going to be another kind of focus. And I think that's also something that I don't know if too many people are doing, like really going local, right? Understanding the sort of the cultural nuances of each region, at least,
Yeah, you
right? To
need lots
see
of
what we can
people
do
to
for
do
them.
that, I think. You need to like
Exactly.
spread the word, and mouth to mouth method
Correct.
is very
Correct.
good there.
Correct. Correct. Right. And
So,
certainly, yeah. Sorry. One last
no.
thing. So I think
Yeah, go ahead.
to your point, right? You probably haven't heard of us, and like I said, this is my first AMA, so thank you for being my first
You're welcome.
for this. And hopefully there'll be more. But I think you know the culture of the team since we started last year is that we kind of like to focus on releasing products first or getting close to releasing them, and then we start talking about it, right? So this is why I'm here today, right? This is the first time we're starting to really push out and start to talk to different communities and start saying, hey, we actually have something to offer,
Yeah,
right?
I like that
So
approach.
check us out. Yeah, you know what I mean. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you know expect a lot more AMAs, expect more airdrops if that's your thing, right? If that's of value to you, we're going to be doing quite a bit starting in the next 2 weeks, and we're going to be doing more games, right? And
Hmm.
so hopefully people are kind of open minded and checking us out, and we can kind of go from there.
And I think you touched on something important here, and I want to dissect it a little bit, I think.
Sure.
There's all these people in crypto, they have a wallet, they know how it
Mm-hmm.
works.
Mm-hmm.
Those maybe will be easier to get faster because they're already here. You just have to scream a little bit loud, and maybe
Certainly.
put some money in marketing and do that stuff to get their
Certainly.
attention. And then to keep them, you need to actually have something to make them stay, obviously. But
Come. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Go
Then
ahead.
the other group that you mentioned, the gamers out there
Yes.
who maybe has still no clue about crypto,
Mm-hmm.
uh, those are maybe they will first need to know the game and like the game and then come into crypto. They
Correct.
won't like the crypto aspect or know about it because, as you said, it took you a year and you still don't know everything what's going on
Exactly.
in this
Exactly.
particular project. And
Exactly. Exactly.
and how will you like get them into on those notes? So there is, like you said, two approaches, and then maybe you have a third option, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the new people who might be interested in crypto and gaming a little bit, and
Yes.
maybe you'll try to reach them as well then if you have. And the key here is that you really have something to show off with, and
Correct. Correct.
a game where people maybe wants to stay and keep gaming, not just buy a bot who games for them so they can earn, but actually create a community with fun games. So tell us more about the games. How are you
Well,
gonna
yeah.
do
So
that?
first, 100% on every single one of your comments, right?
Thank you.
And also, we have to do every single one of the things that you just said. Right? Like there's just no way around it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that adds. I mean, to me, that's the opportunity of what Iskra has to offer because I think we do have the ability to offer value to each of those different groups, right? So,
Mm.
let's talk about the Web3, the current Web3 folks first, right? And so, right now, like I said, expect a lot more, sort of integrations with existing wallets that exist. So we're trying to make it also easy for you to just connect your MetaMask if you already know what you're doing, right? You don't have to make an Iskra wallet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're doing all those things. And like you said, right, we'll do the airdrops. We'll make sure we give these people kind of early access, right? All these early benefits. I'm sure they're interested in the Launchpad for the initial game offerings and all that stuff. So that definitely is going to be a very, very important focus, right? The harder part, I think, which we will discover soon, is that conversion of the current Web 2 gamer, right, into the Web 3 games, right? And so, like you said, it's important for us to introduce the right sort of products, which leads me to kind of our game strategy, right, and the way we're going to go about it. So, um, if you look at our game strategy, and the game offerings that we have now, right? Iskra, let me back up again. Sorry about that. Let me, for the Web3 folks, right, which I'm sure are listening right now, right? So I think one interesting thing too about our project is that we have a 10-year plan to full decentralization, right? So
That's cool.
that means we will go in phases to get there. So we are in the first phase right now, where in terms of the games, right, it's fully curated. We're the ones that choose the games that we want to offer, right? That we will fully, market and support and get, the Web2 people on. But in the second phase, that's where the community will have more involvement in selecting the games that we connect to the platform, right? And then by phase three, hopefully it'll just be this plug and play solution where the community already votes on specific conditions or criteria for the game developers that want to connect to us, and basically it just goes. There's no more consideration. Everybody just kind of like plugs in, right? And
Hmm.
so in this first phase where it's highly curated by our team and we're trying to select the right games, our game strategy right now is diversity, right? If you look at the games that we're going to be offering, some of them are really like, whoa, we had no idea, right? Like, for example, we have the first Web3 casual cooking simulation game, right? I don't know if you like those kinds of
Say
games,
that again.
right?
The first
It's
what?
like it's a restaurant game, right? Where you have to prepare dishes. I don't know if you're
Okay,
familiar with
okay.
those kinds of mobile games, right? So it's like,
Cool.
it's really like time management and task management, right? So it's like, customers enter
Hell's
and you have to
Kitchen.
prepare. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like Hell's Kitchen. It's actually called, Norma in Meadowland is the name of the chef, right? Cooking adventure. And
Okay,
so,
okay.
it's already a successful Web2 game, right? So we know the
Mm-hmm.
game works. We know, people are engaged. They love it. So now we're going to try to solve getting that Web2 game into Web3. And so we're working very closely with the studio to kind of find that right balance, to get the right people in there to do that.
I like that. So you pick games that's already out there and are popular, and then you try to persuade them to come into your hub or your platform.
Well, some, right? So that's one part of the strategy. So we have some
Hmm.
games that are already successful Web2 games, but we also are working with studios that have experience creating very good Web2 games, but they want to start from scratch and build a Web3 game from the ground up, right? So the first game that, for example, that we just released, like soft released about a week ago, that was already a Web2 game that was, sort of successful. It had a very good foundation called Three Kingdoms, right? And basically, we worked with them, and we're trying to figure out what the right sort of NFT and tokenomic system is right for that game, right? And so
So
we
it's
want to
different
avoid.
for every game,
Correct,
obviously. Yeah.
correct, right?
But
And
but
we're
you
trying to,
you
yeah,
try
okay.
you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
do it as play to earn games, all of them. So you need tokens to play them as well, or?
No, so this is where we're kind of diverging from, which was an amazing uh, evolution, right? Play to earn burst on the scene, right? What, 1 or 2 years ago, and it kind of set the standard, right, for
Hmm.
the current Web3 games. We're trying to move towards more of like a play and earn, right, where you don't have to. This doesn't become a job, right? It needs to be
Yeah.
enjoyable and sustainable. So, I think, for example, for Three Kingdoms, right? When we first launched the game, right now, the earning portion of it comes by choice, right? You can play the game and enjoy the game for free, as much as you want. But when you're ready to start earning or really start competing and getting ranked on the leaderboard, that's when you need to, buy either an orb, or you have to buy an NFT in order to start getting ranked and being able to compete with everybody else. And
So are you
then on that
collecting
leaderboard,
while
that's when you.
you're
Hmm?
playing for free? You're collecting items and points and stuff, and if you want to transform them then into the crypto or money, you need to like take the next step and buy an NFT then? And
So for this specific game, for Three Kingdoms, the way you can do it is you can play for free. You can level up the character like as high as you can. And once it's a really high level and you want to start competing with everybody else, then you have to turn that into an NFT. And that's when you enter the
okay,
Web3 part, right? So that's
okay,
one
cool.
model. That's one model, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have these other casual games where, like the cooking game, where it's not like you're playing the game to get a restaurant or a spatula, right? Or a frying pan, right? It's like you're just
Mm-hmm.
playing the game. But if you buy like the cooking game NFT, which I think is like an oven, right? Then it just helps you play the game better, right? So you have more time to prepare the dishes, for example, or it unlocks other dishes and different, cultural dishes that you can cook and you get more points. But then if you have that, you can actually get on the leaderboard. And when you're on the leaderboard, that's where you get ranked and that's where you start earning because you get rewards, right?
Okay.
For
So
being the
is
best. Yeah.
sorry, I'm hooked on this cooking game now. Is that I
Yeah.
mean, is it like real recipes you actually learn how to cook, or is it just like, you know?
Well, so I don't cook, so I don't know if the game's recipes are oversimplifying things, but it's like it depends on the dishes, right? It ranges anything from like cheeseburgers and hot dogs, I think, and it goes, making sushi and all these things. You should check it out, right?
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, okay.
the web two version is called Cooking Adventure. It's highly addictive. I think
Hell's Kitchen.
one of our team members in Thailand, like I don't know, she spent like $400 already on that game, right?
Oh my God.
And she's never going to see that $400. But if you play the Web3 version, maybe you can get that money back, right? So,
Maybe, yeah.
you know. Um, but anyway, yeah. So it's stuff like that, right? And then we also have a very unique other genre of game, which we just signed on. Um, if you look at it, it looks like it's slots, basically slot machines, right? I don't know if you like slots, right? But it's
I
not
never get
gambling.
three in a row anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, this game might, right? But the cool thing about
Okay.
this is, it's kind of like that social casino genre, but you can
Is
never
that the
cash
daily
out.
lucky spin? Daily lucky
No,
spin
no, that's different.
launch.
Yeah, Daily Lucky Spin is a different engagement tool that we have,
Oh
like
yeah,
on the
yeah,
side.
that's
But
right. Okay.
we have another game, right, called World of Win, which is like it kind of belongs in the social casino genre, which means that it's like a slot machine, but you can never cash out, right? So it's not gambling, right? But the slot machine's fun because it's like, yeah, it's cool, right? It's like you win the jackpot, and it's really entertaining because there's different mechanics to different slot machines, believe it or not. And and if you want to keep winning or win big, then you can purchase like a piggy bank NFT. And if you attach that, then you get bigger bonuses and all that stuff. But again, if you have that, you can get ranked and play non chance games, skill based games, right? Like whack a mole or whack a piggy, and basically like hyper casual games. And you get ranked on that. And if you get ranked high, that's when you earn, right? Because then you can earn other tokens and
So
stuff
you
that you
can
can
both
you
be
can cash out.
skilled and you can also do like just random
Correct.
lucky. Yeah,
Correct. But you can't cash out
that's
with
cool.
those because then that's gambling, right?
Okay,
So,
okay.
like I said, right, we're trying different genres, different um, business models, right? And we're
And you
hoping
have
that
like a whole
one of
team
these things
who's
actually.
vetting all these games and also then check how it goes and how many players you get and things like that. So you can
Absolutely, absolutely,
evaluate
yeah.
everything and
And actually,
adjust.
we also have our own in-house studio, right? And we're building our own browser-based um, RPG, right? And I think it's really great too. So as you can see, right, the different efforts Iskra is taking is we're finding games, finding the right partners, but we're also doing self-development as well. Because I think, the trick is we have to find that correct business model, that correct
Mm.
tokenomics, right? In order to bridge that gap with these gamers, that I just told you that'll help us really expand the entire Web3 industry.
Yeah. But you said also that this is your first, you haven't really been involved in any crypto project or
That's
How
correct.
experienced is the rest of the team? Have they tried out lots before? Do
Oh
they
yeah,
know
I
the
mean,
good and
so
bad things already?
no, no, absolutely. I mean, I think Eugene Lee, who is our CEO, and the original founder, right?
Hmm.
He's worked on some of the biggest blockchain projects in Korea, like Icon Loop, right?
Okay, that's good.
Unchained, um, Spike, who's my friend from the Web2, online gaming days. He was also part of that project. These guys were working on CBDC stuff and all that. So a big percentage of our team, and I think we're pushing what, like 70 people, I want to say, or
Oh,
80
okay.
people is
Hmm.
developers, and
Full time
blockchain development. Yeah,
people.
full time blockchain development. We also acquired a studio in a development studio in Vietnam as well to kind of help out too. Um, so yeah, I
So,
mean, I think
so where do you
it's a
get the
good balance. It's
funding
a good balance.
from, Ben?
So we're very fortunate that we are backed by some of the biggest Korean tech and video game companies in Korea.
Okay.
We were able to raise about $40 million
Wow,
for the project. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
that's cool.
like I said, we're very fortunate, right? We have partners, such as Kakao Ventures, Line, We Made, Netmarble, some really big name
Hmm.
folks in Korea that are extremely supportive.
And you have been out for a while. I mean, you launched the token like maybe 6, 7 months ago.
September. Yeah, that's right. September. Yes.
Hmm.
On Gate.io. That's right.
And this is your first AMA, so you just did it a little bit in silence first.
Yeah, like I said, right, it's part of the culture of the team, right? We were kind of,
Yeah.
we're kind of focused on being able to say, "Hey, check us out," and then there's actually stuff to do, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
We were quietly kind of doing it before, like little by little, but a lot of us felt that we wanted to release enough products so that when you do um, come see, right, there's really a lot of stuff there to go through, right? And like I said, we've already been talking for 45 minutes. I don't think I've even covered maybe 30% of the entire
No, we
ecosystem.
have a year, you said. We will be every day here a little bit talking about to learn
And this
all.
is me, like a non Web3 person. So I think we need to bring on, the actual Web3 guys to really, be able to explain, the richness of the ecosystem and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling up the chart here on CoinGecko.
Hmm.
It has been a little bit, I mean, pretty looks pretty decent, the chart. It's not like
Yeah,
a
I mean, look,
huge spike anywhere and then the downfall.
no, and like I said, right, because we've kind of been, like you said, quiet, right? Like we've been patiently just focusing on rolling out products, features, and now we're really going to be rolling out the games, right? I think we're going to launch another 3 games by June, right? So
Hmm.
between now and then, we're going to really start stepping out and starting to get some real feedback from everybody, including people like yourself, right? So we can improve whatever we've decided to put
Hmm.
out.
And you can buy this token on Gate.io,
On
Uniswap, and
Gate.io, that's right, correct, correct.
Bilaxi. I don't know them.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have we have something with Uniswap and on our decks, but yeah, Gate is one of the is our
Can you
first
buy it
central
on your
exchange that we
web
were
page
looking
as
into.
well with credit
I
card?
think no, you cannot, not yet,
Not
not
yet.
at this moment,
Okay.
no, not yet, not yet.
Because I think that's pretty easy to do for a
That's
project.
a fair point. I
There's
mean, I think that's probably something the guys are working on. And like I said, because of the time zone, I wish I could have brought some more of the development guys and the
We are
planning guys
recording
on here.
this so they can listen afterwards
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
all our good
And yeah,
ideas then that we're
I'm very careful
brainstorming here.
not to provide the wrong information, right? So I'm being honest with everybody.
Yeah, that's good. No, we believe you so far.
Yeah.
So far,
Thank
we
you.
believe
So
you.
far. All
So far.
right. Well, I have 15 minutes, right, to mess up. So
You have to go
let's.
after 15 minutes, or do you have somewhere to
Oh
be?
no, you tell
Then
me.
we.
I don't know how long. How long? I'll stay as long as you want. Yeah, that's
No,
fine.
sometimes people are very in a hurry, but then
Oh
we
no, not.
have to hurry
I
too.
make time. I make time for
You
you,
make
Mary.
time.
So
Oh,
yeah,
very,
we're
very
good.
good. Very good. It's
Yeah.
Friday. It's
It's
Friday,
Friday.
yeah.
That's right. And I wish it was happy hour where I am, but yeah, it's not yet.
Well, it's here. In Sweden, it's happy hour.
Oh,
Uh,
there you go. What are you drinking?
anyway,
Oh,
what else
no
shall we
comment.
cover?
No
I mean,
comment. Okay.
I I think you are also moving to do your own blockchain, right? Because right now you are
That's right.
on
We're on
Ethereum.
Clayton. We're on Clayton,
You
and but we're EVM, right, compatible. So we have a bridge to Ethereum as well.
what did you say? Which one?
We're on Clayton, the Clayton chain.
Clayton.
Yeah, Klaytn. It's a
Oh,
Korean
Clay.
based. Yeah, Clay. That's right.
Ah, Clay. I know that, I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
I always wonder about that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
like I
that's a
said,
pretty big one too.
initially we're foundationally, a Korean project, right? And so, a lot of the initial ecosystem stuff is starting there. But like I said, we're working on a multi-chain strategy, right? To see, how we can better place ourselves, right? To sort of expand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, eventually it's in the white paper for plans to have our own mainnet, right? And that's when the final phase of the node operation um, will actually kick in.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. I think maybe we should take some questions also from the audience and then we can maybe get
Absolutely.
to some questions in between if it pops up more in my head.
Yeah.
So let's see. Is there some people in here who wants to ask Ben questions? Yes, 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 yes. So let's see who we have here.
Make it easy questions, please.
No, go hard on him now. He has had a walk in the park so far.
This is okay. This was a walk in the park. All right.
No, you did good, Ben. I'm trying to connect
Yeah, can you hear me?
King Elf and Cussman.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, King Elf, go
Okay,
ahead.
Yes.
okay. So my question is, I went to your website and I discovered about the Iskra Launchpad, whereby users can market
Yes.
their gaming projects and get funded. So my question is, what
Hmm.
mechanism do you have in place to ensure that scam gaming projects are not marketed and funded? Are users meant to repay back these funds after being funded?
Good question, King. Thank you. So our Launchpad has not been released yet. But I guess if your question is about how do we ensure that the projects that we promote on the Launchpad are not scams, as I mentioned to Mary earlier, we're in the first phase of our game release strategy, and 100% of our games are purely curated by the team, right? And we'd like to think that the partners that we are working with and these projects are not scams, right? But like you said, eventually, as we go into phase three, where it should be like a plug and play thing where projects can get plugged into that would be a legitimate concern. But hopefully, by the time we get there, the community already would have made proposals and we would already put in place the requirements and the criteria to add these games without much review, right? But in the first phase, definitely we're going to be curating everything to help prevent that situation.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No, thank you, Ken.
Thank you, King Elf. Cussman,
Good
you're
day.
next. Good evening.
I just want to
How you
ask
doing?
because I read about the Iskra Hub chain, your white paper, which supports the launching of different
Mm-hmm.
games platforms to its blockchain. So, like, what are the
Correct.
costs and requirements a gaming platform must attain before it can be eligible to launch in this Iskra Hub chain? Thank you.
Man, that is a very good question, which I definitely do not have the credibility to answer right at the moment. Um, uh, that is in the plans. Like I said, I think we need to hold probably another AMA specifically with some of the technical team to be able to answer those questions. But yeah, I'm sorry I can't answer that with any real authority at the moment. But no, it is a good question, and like you said, it is in the white paper for us to plan to do that. But maybe a separate AMA to specifically answer that would be required.
At least you're honest, Ben. Thank you for that.
I try.
Kasman, did you have another easier question for Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I read that users who contribute to the growth and development of an Iskra world are rewarded with contribution points.
Yes.
So my question is, how can I possibly contribute to your ecosystem, and what are the use case of this contribution points in this project?
Okay. So right now in this phase of the contribution, as you mentioned, right, we're starting it with either purchasing a Pioneer NFT, right, and getting ready to do the node operations, or you can stake ISK to get contribution points. If you stake ISK and you participate in the voting, which we're going to do at the end of this month, right, you also get contribution points for that. And anytime you use the platform, right, if you use the marketplace, you use the DEX, all these other things, you also gain contribution points, right? And as I mentioned earlier, the contribution points determine your ranking for when we do the payout from the rewards pool from all the fees at the end of the season. So to answer your question about what is the utility of these contribution points, it is really just that. It helps your ranking for when the distribution for the platform fees that are collected are handed out. For now, like I said, in this current phase.
Thank you. Kasman, that was a little bit too easy question.
Yeah, thank you very
That
much.
was easy?
I wish
Come
you all the
on,
best.
man.
All right, let's have
Mary.
Sam up and then Matt next. First, Sam.
Okay.
Sam, go ahead. What is your question? Sam, are you here? Sammy boy? Or crypto industry? You're changing names, guys, in here. Can't keep up.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
There you
we
go.
can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what is your strategy for attracting new user and investor to your project and keeping them long term? Because a loyal community is a key component to any project. That is my question.
I think the first part we had already enough. Maybe the last one we can take, Ben. Like, what's the long-term perspective? You said a little bit about your 10-year plan, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think in terms of the
maybe
long-term perspective, right? I guess I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for, but my only comment to being long-term is that if you look at the way, and you'll see it when you start looking at the staking and the Pioneer NFTs, there are a lot of locking mechanisms and staking incentives that try to stabilize and sustain, our ecosystem balance, right? This isn't kind of like we're trying to prevent sort of kind of these spikes, Mary, that you were saying, right? That you can see, right?
Yeah,
And we're trying to be very careful about that. So I guess to answer your question about the long term, that's kind of our view, right? Is that we're looking at a long term. We're very careful about maintaining this kind of long term growth rather than, kind of these fits and starts, right? That go up and down. The only other thing I would add as a long term is we've only launched one game, and we're going to do 3 by June. The long term is, if we're able to launch 3 to 4 games every 6 months, I really feel that just kind of compounds, the potential for growth, right? And because everybody's kind of on the same page, right? The users kind of help make sure we're engaged. We bring in more users, and developers see that, and developers want to participate in that, right? They want to access the community. And so hopefully kind of for the long term, that's that virtuous flywheel that keeps kind of feeding on itself, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. But another question that I used to ask that I think also is interesting is like a long-term vision, if you could like dream. I mean,
Oh yeah,
where are you in 10 years? Where is Iskra on
absolutely.
every person's lips, or I mean, in every person's phones, maybe, or
Well, so we think that, so like I said, right, the long-term vision, that 10-year plan towards decentralization, right, where it's really community run is the plan. But in terms of, like you said, do we want to be on every phone? I feel like that goal is a little modest one, where it's like we just want to be one of the fastest growing Web3 platforms globally, right? We really want to be in the same markets that me and my friends kind of were able to get to before, right? So really emerging markets, Southeast Asia, South America, in India also, certainly, since it's such a huge market, where I went and failed, right? But hopefully with this product, really, kind of takes it there.
they didn't give up. That's good. Try again. So
Well, I did give up, but then now there's a reason to try again. So
yeah,
let's see.
okay. With something
Yeah,
new.
yeah,
That's good.
exactly.
All right, we have Matt up next. Matt, I'm curious to hear your question now.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Hey,
Hi.
Matt.
You might have actually just preemptively answered part of what I was going to ask.
Oh, score, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, sort of following on from the long-term thing.
Yeah,
Obviously, I've seen your rewards pools. It says you're going to, shift eventually towards everything going to just the community rewards pool and the burn, nothing
correct,
to the team, because it's going to be obviously autonomous on the DAO.
correct, correct.
When it gets to that stage, though, obviously the community, I guess, are doing the proposals and the voting for the games to go on the platform. But is there still going to be team involvement? I mean, who's going to be? You mentioned you were going out to like local areas to scout games and onboard Web2 game companies. Who's going to be doing that if there's no team? If it's all just sort of community voted?
Good question. I mean, I think that, like I said, right, it's a plan, right? And when we put the 10-year thing out there, I think we have to see how things go, right? Whether if the community feels they want to retain, some sort of somewhat centralized, what I mean, kind of guidance, then we can vote on that, right? But again, this was the vision that we kind of laid out since the beginning, where if, after 10 years, we're hoping that the community sort of matures and kind of, comes together enough that those decisions can be made. But yeah, I'm sorry, I can't give you a straight answer, but yeah, I mean, I really don't know 10 years from now what would be the appropriate way to do that.
Yeah, no, that's cool, and I appreciate, to be honest, when you can't answer, you can't answer, and it's good to hear.
I mean, like I said, everybody wishes everybody would just do the right thing all the time, right? But how often does that really happen?
No, well, it's nice to hear someone just go, not sure right now, rather than try and blag something. So that's great.
Yeah. No, and like I said, like I feel, the toughest thing for us right now is this for me anyway, that I feel on the founding team is this like enormous responsibility to make the right choices, right? Like which chain should we focus on, to really try to collaborate with and connect with, right? Which communities, right? Or which games should we really try to partner with and push, right? And so, but like I said, this voting mechanism that's going to start at the end of the month, I think, to me, I'm excited to see that, because that's the first time you're going to start to see real feedback and proposals from the stakeholders who have really been participating since the beginning, right? Like you're willing to stake your ISK tokens, right? The people who currently own the Pioneer NFTs are going to be able to formally put forth their comments and everything, right? So I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I'm excited to kind of see which way it goes, and if people want more autonomy or they want us to provide more guidance.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's great. And
Yeah.
sorry if I can sneak one last little question in.
Sure,
Sure, do
sure.
that.
In terms of, you mentioned obviously, onboarding Web2 companies, and you've got the studio in, was it Thailand or Taiwan? Somewhere that way.
Oh no, so yeah, well, yeah, we
um,
have our own dev studio in Korea.
yeah. And
For the games,
so,
yeah.
do you have a number of sort of how many companies you're sort of talking to in the pipeline in terms of the Web2 ones that you're looking to onboard?
Oh
Or is that
gosh,
not
no, that's
revealable at the moment?
well, I'll just tell you, it's a long list, right? Whether or not we're able to come in agreement is another
Yeah,
story,
it's early
right?
talks.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, the list is long, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are aware, right? I don't know if the things are changing, but like, Sony announced that they filed a patent for some Web3 product, right? Nexon, which is a gigantic Korean studio, announced that MapleStory, which is a huge game, which I published, by the way, in Brazil a
Oh,
long time
really?
ago.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're
Wow.
switching to Web3, right? And actually, Spike, who's one of the founding team members, he was the lead of the global services team. That's how I know him. We both were in Brazil to
Oh,
to run that game, So, and and of course Niantic, right? Pokemon Go, they're looking for an NFT advisor, right? So I don't know what happened, right? Everyone was like, Square Enix and Ubisoft was getting all this crap like, a year ago about, oh my gosh, you're ruining the game industry. And then these big guys are quietly kind of, stepping in there. So to answer
the
your question, right?
sentiment's
Yeah, the
definitely
list is
swung on
long.
that.
Was that sorry?
Yeah, the sentiment's definitely swung on Web3 gaming from just
Yeah.
uproar to everyone wants it now.
Exactly. Which is great. So like I said, I think that's why I can reveal that the list is long. Whether or not we can come to an agreement, right? That's, let's see what happens, right?
And sorry, this is it for definite now.
Okay.
Are you have you got any plans, or do you know if the team have plans to target the indie dev side of things in terms of platforms like Itch, where it's like a marketplace for indie devs, 1 or 2 man bands doing small games? Are you looking to try and get in with them and get them on board, or are you
Great
focusing
question.
on the studios?
Actually, very timely question. So one of the things we have on the roadmap for this year is what we're calling the Indie League. And we're fleshing out the details, but we're trying to figure out how we can create this mechanism for, like you said, these, indie developers, maybe 1-2 man shops, to submit a project. And again, this is where, in my opinion, our governance voting thing comes in, right? Like maybe those guys could be part of that process to start vetting out these indie projects, right? That we would support, right? So, yeah, definitely that's something we're looking into. As far as, like you said, the indie chains, right? That you mentioned, that one, like I said, I might reserve that to the strategy team that's planning kind of like our multi-chain strategy to kind of answer, but I'll make a note of that, and I'll try to be more prepared next time to answer that question.
No, that's brilliant. Thanks for all the info. So cheers for that. Thanks a lot.
Cool, man.
Great,
Thanks a lot,
man.
man.
Good questions as always.
Good question. Yeah.
I mean, isn't it what everyone needs or wants to grow? Like a super fun game that grows really popular really fast, like maybe like Angry Birds back in the days, or like Pokemon Go, or a game like that. How will you find that game, or will you develop it yourself?
Oh man, if I had the answer to that question, I would be in Tahiti right now, drinking a
Oh, okay.
margarita. No, I think that's the golden ring, right, of all
Yeah, I
publishers and
know.
developers. My personal view is you really never know, right? And that's why the first phase of our strategy is diversification in terms of the kinds of games that we're trying to release, right? Certainly, you have your outliers of people who just create amazing IP that everybody wants to play, right? Like Diablo 4, right, coming out. But I think for everybody else, I think it's just finding, yeah, it's really just, finding the right partners
But
and keep trying.
is this project one who's aiming to onboard all these huge games out there, the huge Web2 games, or are
Oh
they
yeah,
looking to do their
absolutely.
own thing, but they don't really know anything about blockchain? You are ahead of them, so
Well, that was part of my answer, my veiled answer to Matt, right? It's like our list is long. We were talking to
yeah.
everybody, right?
Mm.
And
FIFA.
we don't know we don't know which way that's going to go, right? Everybody's talking, and like you said, yeah, there's nothing sometimes stopping the really big guys to do it themselves, right?
Mm.
And like I said, it's just one of those things, right? You just have to keep talking to people
But
and,
that
and
is
see
your
where you end up.
vision. That's what I'm after. That's your
Oh, we would love to. We
vision
would
plan
love to. We would
to
love
grow
to.
that big, to be
Yeah,
one of the
yeah,
really big ones out there.
absolutely. I think, yeah. So sorry. Thank you for giving me, the setting me up for, to spike the ball. I think once we succeed in growing the community large enough, right, that shows that, wow, this is a real engaged, formidable community and this is a great ecosystem, then
Hmm.
the AAA guys, the really big guys, may not, would probably be able to say, hey, you know what? It's probably easier to just go work with Iskra, rather
Yeah.
than build it themselves. Yeah. But yes, definitely that's kind of the hope, that we were
I
able
mean
to do.
that lots of blockchains or lots of projects are going there or trying to go there, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
We had Avalanche in here yesterday for an
Mm-hmm.
AMA. They
Yeah.
also onboarded some big. We're not going to talk about that, in your AMA, but they are like
No, but I mean it's relevant.
big
Like,
projects
yeah,
out there. And are
absolutely.
you thinking to like partnering up with one of the big ones, or are you going to be a big one yourself, or how are the thoughts about those kind of things?
Well,
Like the
I think that
competitive.
yeah, look, look, it's everything is highly competitive now, right? I mean, even Binance Chain is, trying to secure some major titles, right, to do that.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. To me, being in the game business, even from before, I don't think much has changed in terms of you need to talk to everybody, and everybody's got to be open minded, right? Because you never know what the right decision is going to be, right? It's also partly timing. So, for us, certainly, we are talking to everybody, right? And the big guys. And depending on where those conversations go, it really depends on each individual company's kind of internal like goals, right? And if we can align with that, then we'll do it. But to answer your question simply, plainly, we would love to have obviously a major AAA title. That's something that's a whale that we're kind of trying to hunt,
It's
right?
in your
At the
bucket
moment.
list.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, maybe the whale hunting thing is not a good metaphor. Right? It's something we're trying to reach for right now. Right? It's something that we're trying to reach for right now. Yeah.
Well, you never know. Polish up the crystal
Exactly.
ball.
With a little bit of luck, right? Honestly, like, and to me, sometimes a lot of this just comes down to luck too, right? Being at the right place in the right time, and
Yeah,
yeah,
but I
hopefully
think
we do that.
we're still early. But not super early anymore. It's
Mm.
lots of projects out there trying to do this, and yeah, it's competitive, but we're still early and
Well,
still
actually,
tiny. Uh,
yeah,
if you
yeah. I
compare
was
to
gonna,
all the big gaming
yeah,
studios and everything.
correct. Well, I was gonna ask you, Mary, right? I mean, you've been in the space, and your listeners too, right? I mean, do you feel we are still in the early innings of things, or
Yeah, right now it struck me actually that yeah, we are still in the beginning, but more
Mm.
and more
Mm-hmm.
people are getting aware, and I think this everything bad that happened in crypto this year, actually, all the collapses and FTX and everything, it made people aware about crypto even more. Okay, it was maybe
Even
in
in
a
a bad way.
bad way now, but no, but
Right.
seriously, all
Uh-huh.
all what do you say? This is saying all commercials or all happenings are, they point to a direction in crypto. So
Got it.
people are
That's
looking
true.
here. Some
That's
people
true.
think it's bad, but at least they are aware about it now. Maybe they didn't know about it. And next time they hear something good about it, they will have that in the back of their mind that, oh, crypto, I know that. Wasn't that the bad thing? Oh, it's good now, So
Interesting.
it will
Actually,
be
that's
easier
true,
to
right? Yeah,
onboard
like
them.
I said earlier, the news about Sony filing a patent for Web3. I mean, there you go. Right? That's good news. It's like, oh,
Exactly.
Sony, right? It must be something okay, right? Yeah, that's true,
Because
actually.
bad news travels much faster than good news. So
That's true.
the bad news are
Yeah,
reaching so much more people than just a little good news, So
yeah,
that's my thought anyway.
No, I mean, no, I'd love to hear it, I know, I think it's also validating for us, right? Because, like I said, it's not easy, right? I mean, obviously, yeah, it's a no-brainer to be like, oh, why don't you get a AAA game that everybody's anticipating and ready to play? But it's not quite so simple. Yeah.
It's not that easy, no, because
Yeah.
they are still thinking about all the bad stuff as well, and they want to figure out how to avoid that and how to,
Yeah.
listen to their users what they want, and they maybe are not really there yet. So that's why
Right.
your project can come in handy and going to maybe not this is the best word, but infiltrate the gaming communities, and tell them about the good stuff with crypto. So yeah.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I think one of the challenges that we have too, is we speak to a lot of developers, and the successful ones are happily, making a lot of money, right? The old way, right? So why should you
Yeah,
change, right?
yeah,
So you can understand their position. You know what I mean? Right? It's like,
yeah. So
am I
so
going to try
that's what
something
I
totally
mean.
new that hasn't been
I,
proven, right?
yeah, I don't think it's the right way is maybe not to go to the big ones and make them turn, because they will only
Mm,
turn when their users are asking for it.
sure. Yeah. Possibly. Exactly. Right. I mean,
It's
there's,
the same with
yeah,
everything
yeah.
in the world
Correct.
when you
Correct.
buy. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah, it's
change
hard, right, to
one by
change.
one.
Yeah, if something's working, it's kind of hard not to, what I mean, to be like, oh, let's risk it all and let's go into Web3 with Iskra.
Why
You know what
not?
I mean?
Yeah, but
It's like,
you have to be Elon Musk or someone to do that kind of things, probably.
that's true.
A
I
little
don't
bit
know. I don't
weird
know.
and crazy and bold enough. Not bold,
Yeah,
but bold. I don't know the
bold
word.
or
Bold enough.
bored, right?
Bored
Maybe just
enough.
bored.
Bored apes. Yeah, have to be a bored ape.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has been a blast with you, Ben. For this being your first AMA, I think you did really well, and I'm
Thank you
sure
very
everyone
much.
agrees
It's been a
with
pleasure.
that.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
maybe we forgot some things, and probably we haven't touched on everything, as you mentioned, it's a lot, but I
Mm,
would like to give you the opportunity to, yeah, wrap it up a little bit or have a closing
sure.
statement or yeah, address the public in here the way
Yeah,
you
I
want.
mean, I guess well, thank you very much, Mary, for really facilitating and, kind of helping me try to explain some of uh, the value that we can offer. Like I said, it hasn't, it's a little complex, right? But I'm hoping in little pieces, it kind of starts becoming understandable. And I want to thank everybody that listened for your time. Hopefully, I was able to offer something that could be of value to you guys, and I hope you guys check us out. And yeah, I look forward to more kind of AMAs, deeper ones with you guys and collaborating.
Sure, you're always welcome back, Ben.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
And
Thank
I
you,
do have
thank
one
you.
last question. Everyone is waiting for
Sure,
this question.
go
So
ahead.
what do what do you put on your pizza, Ben? Do you like pineapple?
I like pineapple, but not on my pizza.
Oh, really? You're an American,
Yeah,
though.
I
You
mean,
made the
I don't
pineapple
know.
pizza,
I
Hawaiian
guess,
pizza.
I guess, yeah. But no, I love pineapple, but not on my pizza.
Okay, so what do you put on your pizza?
I don't know, man. I'm just like a plain slice, maybe some sausage and pepperoni and mushroom on there. Yeah,
Okay, okay. Be
yeah.
bored.
I'm a boring
Boring then.
guy. I'm a boring guy. I'm really,
No.
I'm a boring guy. I mean, it's funny, right? Like, I just realized that if you look at my Twitter profile, this is my Twitter from 2012. right when I sold the business, and
Oh, wow.
and actually, it's like my first tweet is going to be after this AMA.
All right, I will
Since
retweet it
then,
for you,
so
Ben, if it's not about
exactly,
pizza
and
or something.
I just wanted to understate that, yeah, I'm a boring guy. I haven't tweeted since
No.
2012, right? Or I deleted all of the tweets I think that were a little cringe. That's what I did.
Do you also
But yeah,
drive a white car, Ben?
I do not.
Oh, thank God.
I do not. I do not.
That's
I
good.
do not.
All right. Next time, guys, we will hear which color Ben's car is.
You guys should guess, actually. You should guess. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we should guess.
You
I
should
guess
guess. At the next one. At the
black.
next one. Yes, but a different kind of black.
Okay. I don't know. Are there different kinds of black?
Murdered out.
I've heard
Like
about
matte.
I've heard
Murdered
about
out. Matte black.
50 Shades of Grey or something, but not how many shades of black?
No, it's just matte. Like it's matte black.
Matt. We have Matt in
Yeah.
here. Matt is not. Are you black, Matt? Matt. Oh, never mind. Okay, we'll stop it here now.
Okay, listen, I have to ask you. I know you said it's happy hour over there. What are you drinking? Like, seriously, what is your
Friday.
drink? Even if it's not
Friday.
Even if it's
If
not
you
happy
book
hour, like what is your drink of choice? Actually, let me ask that.
Water.
Who here knows what
If-
Mary's drink is? I want to know what kind of drink you drink. What is
I'm
the
just
drink that you
drinking
drink?
Swedish water. I mean, if you book an AMA on Friday
Swedish
evening
water.
with Mary, this is what you get, guys. Yeah, all right.
I don't know. I think we should take some bets. We should take some bets.
I want to try the Swedish water.
Swedish waters are the best.
I didn't even know. Is that a thing? Swedish water? I had no idea.
It is now.
Is that a thing? Maybe is that a euphemism for something else, Mary? Swedish water.
No comments. No comments.
You know what I'm saying? You know how they say like mommy juice, but it's really like wine. You know?
Ah, okay. Well,
So
this
Swedish
is
water is what?
actually.
Is it like, you got
It's
some
very strong
vodka in
water
there?
up here in Sweden. Strong water. All right.
I think that should be our next promo for the next AMA.
We should have a hangout. Too bad this is recording. I mean, if we could stop the recording and just hang out afterwards, that would be fun. But I mean, we can't do whatever and keep it in the professional recording. I'm not sure this is a professional anymore, but
oh, it's still professional.
Yeah, it's professional.
You're a consummate professional, and thank you for that.
Perfect. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to Happy Hour with Mary and Ben and Iskra World. So is it called Iskra World or Iskra? Because someone.
Just Iskra. Just Iskra. Iskra.world is our website.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool. Okay. So guys, go ahead and like and follow Iskra World account here. Do you have Twitter? You have Twitter, and do you have Telegram, Discord?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you guys at the most?
We have it all.
Where can we find Ben?
Well, just hit me up here on here. This is my own personal Twitter account. But yeah, follow us at Iskra_world, and join our Discord. I'm actually there. I have office hours, so you can catch me on there every week.